Morning, everybody. It is September 18th. It's 8:10 a.m. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Let's see what's going on in the market. Big sell-off on Friday. Went across those most traded prices, especially in the Nasdaq of the year, the month, the week. Of course, it was quad witching, so a lot of volatility. And I made a market recap and outlook video over this weekend. Hopefully, some of you watched that, enjoyed it. Um, I felt a lot of golden nuggets in there to see what this market's doing, right? Now, for a while in the morning, this market had very low volume, relative volume. It was kind of in this little range, but now it's kind of just broke lower. Okay, some volume came in. So let's see if this can hold. It's still in the overnight session or pre-market, whatever you want to call it. And that's where we're at right now. Okay, so welcome. My name is Steve Gonzalez. Welcome to my channel. Using volume profile, market profile to find structure in this market, along with gamma exposure levels, supply and demand levels, and the most traded price of the rolling week and the month. Keeps us on the right side of the trade because price action, boy, can that fool you, right? Because if you look at a daily chart, you can be like, oh my God, this market's falling. Well, we're at key levels. Okay, we're at key levels in the Nasdaq and the S&P. So we really have to see. As in my video, I said the top four sectors, they're kind of like in a little bit of a fight. Financials are moving higher, discretionary is moving higher, tech and health. Tech is weaker, and healthcare is kind of stuck. So it's weaker, but not like falling out. It's just stuck. Okay, so that's the big battle. And when all of them align, that's when we're gonna get a big move. All right, all right. Why don't we just get into? Well, you know what? Obviously, if you haven't already, subscribe, set an alert. I'm sure whoever's watching already has, but if you're new, please do. All right, please do. Of course, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to follow me on X, I gotta get used to saying that. You can follow me at Gonzo719. All right, all right. Let's go right into our futures watch list. Okay, let's get right in there. We got a VIX that's up 6.5%. Okay, we were at I think 12 or something on Friday morning. Um, so we're up 6.53%. Bitcoin's up 3%. All right, Ether's up almost 2%. Crude, my lord, $91 a barrel. All right, all right. So that's up 0.54. Gold's up 0.09. Silver's up 0.08. Russell is pretty much slightly up to flat. 10-year yield reports at 8.20. Bonds, 30-year bonds are being slightly sold. The dollar's flat. Dow is flat. ES is down 0.13. The Nasdaq is down 0.27. Okay. Now let's go into the stocks I like: day trade, swing trade. All right. Coin, following Bitcoin's up 1.41%. Apple's flat. Okay. 175. 175 is a very key level in Apple. Okay. That was the highest gamma, and that's where the market closed. All right. No surprise there on Friday. They usually pin it, and it went right back to that level. No, that's the highest gamma level. That is not a surprise. Okay. So the only leader is coin, right? So let's go with laggards, and we're going to talk about this. Okay, Baba's getting invest in Turkey. Uh, Tesla was up a little bit before, and they're looking to open up a factory in Saudi Arabia. Okay, but now that's turned negative. All right, all right. Here's the news of the day. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, that's a chip supplier or chip maker. Okay, they have said to delay deliveries because of waning demand, which is not good for semis. Okay, so AMD, I talked about it in a weekend video. No surprise if you watch AMD, $100 is a key level. 99, upper 99s, $100 is very key. Okay, so this first try down, I don't know. You could get support here. What I believe what should happen is you'll get a flush to 99 or something, and then it recovers. I don't think we're just going to just fall out of bed, but I don't know nothing, right? I'm not claiming to know how this is going to go. Now, NVIDIA, I also talked about NVIDIA. NVIDIA's got a farther away. It's far more volatile. It could go down to 400, 405. I talked about this over the weekend, if you could check it out. Okay, so I wish the IV rank was higher, because then I'd be talking about putting on some put ratios, maybe a butterfly. But the IV rank at NVIDIA is really low. It should raise today. Okay, give you the short cliff notes on the IV rank. It's just over the year, it looks at the highest IV for that year and the lowest, and then it gives you the rank. So it's like a relative uh, volatility. It's relative. Okay, it's based on its own merit, not just on 100% volatility, right? That's why I like IV rank. Okay, just to let you know, if the IV rank is high, like say 180 to 100, you want to be a seller in options. You want to be a seller. Higher IV, you want to be a seller. You're going to get more premium. Okay, whenever IV rank is low, you want to be a buyer. Okay, and that's when you want to put on bull call credit spreads, buy options. Those are going to be cheaper. Okay, that's kind of generally how it goes. Okay, I know if you're not into selling options, that might be advanced to you, but that's basically how that works. And NVIDIA, I want high IV to be able to make some money with selling. So, but it's not there right now. Okay, so that's the news with TSM. Other news is Netflix got a price target lowered. Okay, based on those margins, based on the strikes going on, they'll let you know that. Okay, let's go into top sector stocks. All right, we got Chevron, no surprise. We got Exxon. All right, that's like the only leader. Disney's in the news. This next star, something like that, is looking to possibly purchase ABC from Disney. So that's one thing on the thing for Disney. All right, now let's look at some laggard. Salesforce, Qualcomm, no surprise. Semis, Qualcomm's down 0.74. Right now, Nvidia's down 1.9. AMD's down 1.17. Okay, maybe if we have time, I'll just go real quickly over those charts really quickly, because you can check out my weekend video to see that. Okay, so let's move over to sectors. There's going to be no surprise here either. Okay, so there's no leader. Now, crude and XLE don't have to be in unison. Okay, they're not right now. All right, if you look at crude and XLE, crude is skyrocketing and XLE is not. That's okay, right? So we don't have any in sectors. Everybody's negative. So the most positive is energy. That makes sense. Okay, but anyway, let's go to the laggards. It's going to be no surprise here. Okay, a little surprise is Staples be down here, but semis down 0.72. Right? We already talked about that. Utility. This is a little surprising. To be honest with you, you got some utilities, real estate, Staples. That's a little odd for Nasdaq to be down, and you see those weak as well. It's a little odd. Okay, but that's what we got. All right, that's what we got. Trying to see what else I have. Any news? All right, let's go over to some news. Right, and economic calendar. All right, let's go to our calendar. I mean, this week, obviously, we got the FOMC. All right, so let's go here. Market news. Okay, so today we don't got much, right? Tuesday, I wouldn't say anything Tuesday, and then we got the big boy on Wednesday, FOMC. Okay, followed by the press conference. That's always at 2:30. Then we got Philly Fed on Thursday, initial jobless claims, existing home sales. Friday we have a Fed Cook speech, S&P Global Manufacturing. That's what we got this week. All right, but the big thing is the FOMC. Big thing is FOMC. Okay, now remember I told you this market was selling off pretty big. You don't get too excited with it because it needed to flush that out. You know, could have been a little liquidation break. All right, liquidation break is something that comes out of nowhere, and then what happens is it makes the market stronger. It gets rid of sellers, just to let you know. That's what works with liquidation breaks. Okay, now as far as other news, I already talked about it. All right, let's go to the juice here. See what else is coming up here. Oil, I already talked about that. Semiconductors, I talked about that. Yeah, not much I really want to add into the news here. I mean, let's see, investing.com. Let's see. I talked about that. The five big deals. I already talked about that. Really, I don't really see anything more that. Um, I mean, let's see here. If there's something new in here, I doubt there's something new. And this is old now. It says futures edge higher. That's it. They're not. Evergrande share slump. Okay, crude. Yeah. All right, not much more to add here. Not much more. The semis is the big news. All right. I mean, the FOMC, they basically expect a pause this week. We can go over that really quickly. All right, let's do that real quick. Psh, look at that. Look at that. All right. How's that for you? You think we're pausing this week? 99% no change. So it's expected the market's not gonna. They're not doing anything this time. Okay. We got that out of the way. All right. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get right into the daily charts. All right. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I did it on the weekend. All right. So let's go over to that. Give me a second here while I pull that up for you. Boom. All right. All right. So the gist of this is, what did we do? There's the previous week's high and low, right? What did we do? We pretty much went to the last week's high and last week's low. We got this wedge that I talked about on the weekend, right? So we got to see now. What do we do? Do we buy this bottom? Buy this support here? Do we break it? That's really that's really it. Or do we go back to the other end, right? That's really what we have going here. That's it. 443 is where we're at. 443. Well, what do you know? We're right at last week's lows. Last month's lows. I mean, Friday's lows, which is last week's lows. Okay? We're right here. We have a trend line here. So, be very careful here because you can get a little flushy flush down here and then recover, and then what do? You're going to put these shorts on their heels, and then what could we do? We could possibly go back, right? And people are going to be a little cautious because of the FOMC. So that's what SPY, I would say, we were looking at here. Okay, 2 weeks in a row with the same high and low. I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is such a bearish candle right now. It's not. Not in the structure right now. You need to break this and hold it. You need to go above this and hold it. That's really what the market needs to do. Let's move on. Qs. Qs, same thing. Got this wedge, right? Same, somewhat same, right? We stayed within last week's highs and lows right here, right? So we have an uptrend line right here, that part of that wedge. Where are we at now? 369.34. 369.34. We're gapping lower, right? We're right above this previous week's low. Okay. Now again, structure here. Okay, you're at a key level here. You know, people are going to short those lows and then they can get very hurt. Okay, so you really got to sit back. And again, What are we gonna do? You got to break out of these weeklies, okay? And if you can see here, this is each week. We have not made a lower low in a week in a while. Look at these lows. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We have not made. So it's very interesting. Is this the week that we do that? I don't know. All right. I don't know. All right. Let's go over to the triple headed monster. Let's do it. Let's look at that 10-year yield that's reported now. That should have risen slightly. Yeah. All right. It's right up here. We're at 4.3. No surprise there. It's up 0.39%. These bonds keep getting sold. Okay. What do we do if we come back up to this 4.3? Do we sell off or do we go higher? Now, the bond market's telling us they don't trust this market, right? The bond market is saying right now that they believe this economy is not great, right? They believe the Fed's going to hike. So pay attention to this bond market, okay? Because sometimes it's just a leading indicator and then the market follows it, okay? But if we come up here and then we just take a big dip, well, you're most likely the end of the year rally, okay? So pay attention to that. Let's go to that VIX. VIX, look at that VIX. That was the low on Friday, and look at all the way back up here. So volatility has come right back. We need to get over 15 though to start getting real volatile. Okay. All right. So 16 VIX is a 1% move. 16 VIX is a 1% expected move every day. So once we get into the 16s, that's when you get those big swings. Okay. Dollar. How are we looking with the dollar? Dollar's in a range. Okay. This 105. It's just chilling there. All right. We just chilling there. All right. Now let's get over to the market profile, my buddy, my friend, my structure. My structure. Okay. Let's do it. All right. Let's get to this structure here. Let me just get my trusty marker here. That's not a meta short. I can tell you that much. Let me put that up there again. And here we go. Let's get into it. Let's get into this structure. All right. So, everybody who watches me normally, what are we going to talk about first? The most traded price. Not the most traded price of the week. I'm sorry. The weekly profile, right? This is rolling weekly profile. Okay. Now, in the ES, we really didn't break the lows of these lows to the left here. Okay, we kind of stayed. Yes, we moved, but we came down to here, right? And just recently, look at this overnight. He gave us this little excess right here, but it's not out of the woods. Okay, if you look to the left, see these lows right there? We didn't break those. So, talking about structure, right? Don't let that price scare you, fool you. It will a lot, okay? So, we're kind of like, not like super bearish here, okay? So, with the profile, the most traded price of the week is right there. Let's call it 45.27, 45.26. Okay, most traded price of the month's right there, 45.13. That just means balance in the ES. Balance right here. Okay, so we could definitely see this market cross it and go back to the other side. Very easily. If it can't go lower, it's going to cross it and go back to the other side. That's how the market works. Revert to the mean, okay? Until we get the move, until we get a catalyst, which could be FOMC. All right, so that's what we got going there. Now, okay, let's look at Friday. Highs, Friday's lows. Okay, we got overnight lows, overnight highs. Notice all that volume that was concentrated in the overnight. See, that's what happened. What happened is it was all up there and then boom. It got liquidated. Okay, all those. This usually means that shorts are getting poor location, but then longs just got too crowded, and boom, they had to get corrected. Okay, that's what happened in the overnight. Inventory is basically equal. There's the longs, there's the shorts. Don't have an edge there. Don't have an edge there. We're still in the, you know, yes, in the Friday's range. Okay, but here's a couple important things. We just made a nice move, right? So we made a nice move, closed here. Most traded price in the POC, point and control, that means the most time spent, was at the lows. That's bearish. Okay, that doesn't mean you fall to the bottom of the earth here. That doesn't mean that. It's just structural wise that it is bearish. Think about it. Price goes all the way down here and it's still here. The market's accepting the prices that are lower. Doesn't mean it has to stay, but right now, market's accepting lower prices. Okay, that's what how you have to look at that. It's accepting lower prices. Okay, so we're underneath these big levels too. You have to right now. You have to be biased short. That's the structure. That's just the structure, not what I think and not what will happen. Okay, we're in a demand zone. We're in a demand zone here. All right, so if we cannot go lower, we're going to go back up to this area and test either here or go to this side. That's what's going to happen. That's it. Okay, so let's look at some scenarios here. Okay, so I'm going to go with, remember, ES did not break structure. Okay, we're at key levels down here. Remember I said SPY had equal weeklies 2 weeks in a row. All we did is come down to the bottom of the range again. We didn't break out of it. We didn't break structure. Okay, so in demand zone too. So right now we're still within the range, almost a gap, right? But we just got some excess here. Okay, so we could possibly see, okay, shorts think they got something going here. Try to go to the edge, boom, you get reversed, higher low, right? Now your first test would be the most traded price of the week. And then you could pop up to these levels. It's supply here, so you could get some resistance. But if you break that, you're going to go at least to here. And then you could possibly start going to Friday's highs. Okay. But what's also always important here, you got 45.16 is the 50% retracement of the move. Happens to line up with this supply. Okay. Now, why does this work? This is how balance rules kind of work, okay? Because if you have shorts from here, shorts from here, shorts from here, and we're at the bottom, well, what's going to happen if this market starts to move up? Shorts have to start covering, and then it just happens. They cover, and you go back. And then what do the longs do? If they don't have the staying power, they're going to have to take profits up here, and what happens then? They have to liquidate, and you can go back. That's how that works. That's how the market works. Okay, so let's look at a short scenario. Okay, this is not a favorite of mine. Obviously, what could we do? We could just go like this and dump, right? Then that would be probably no trade for me. Okay, but that's a possibility. Okay, so for me, you got to see the market come up here and get some trouble at the most traded price of the month. Okay, 90 MA dailies there, and there's supply here, so this could be a little move. You go to Friday's lows and you can try to test this next demand zone and the 100-day moving average here in the daily, which is 44.60. Okay, that's the short term. Now, if we do make that big move, like I said, do this and you come up to this supply up here, then that could be a reversion to the mean. Okay, So with semis being weak, right? Now we're going to look at the NASDAQ. It's going to be very, very interesting with semis being weak. Now remember, AMD is at a very, very key level. I would think people would like to get a piece of AMD at $100. Like I said, I think a flush could happen. And then I think people are gonna take profits too. Think about that. If you're short from AMD, you're gonna probably want to take profits at 100. So just that's the psychology of it. Okay. Let's go into the Nasdaq. Okay. Let's look at the Nasdaq now. Nasdaq in futures kind of broke. It broke some structure here. Okay. I'll show you that in a second. But not overall structure like the weeklies, like I said. Okay. So let's look at what we normally look at. Now this profile doesn't have a lot of excess. You can see right here is not excess. Why? Because you have a weak high here. Okay, that's a weak high, right? I can see right from this profile, okay, no excess, right? It doesn't have excess like this. All right, then you got a distribution here, you got another distribution here, here. The NQ is very loaded up here with volume, right? And then look at this little excess here. That was this move here. And you got a big demand zone here. Okay, so what I mean by the NASDAQ just basically cut all these longs here, all up in here. They just had to liquidate, and they went down all the way to this demand zone, right? And now, like I said, we're at the bottom where people are going to take profits, and you really have to see if sellers show their muscle here. Can they really push us down lower? Now you have semis being weak. Okay, that's one thing that for a seller could possibly happen. Nvidia starts to move down, that's going to put pressure on the market. Now, one thing that's not good, let's say if you want to short, is Apple's been bottoming. I've talked about this in my weekend video. It's bottoming. Okay, it's like not going lower. Now, like I said, I think it could go a little lower. I think I said around 170, but I think that's going to be a buy point eventually. So just think about that. Okay, so that's why this market's so hard to read. Okay, so let's look at this. We got the profile. Now we got the monster levels here. Most traded price of the year, the month, right? The week is here. You need to take that back for buyers. Okay, that's the key level. All right, you have the 50% fib of this move, 15492. Okay, if you're a seller, you don't want to see that. If you're a bear, you don't want to see that taken out. You want to hold that. Okay, now price is at the lows. Friday session, just like I said before, this is bearish. You got the POC and the most traded price at the lows and at the close. That is bearish. That's bearish. I didn't mention this before. Now, if we can move the most traded price of the week, which is right here, if you move that down here today, that's bearish. If that can move down here and the most traded price of the week goes down here, that is very bearish. And that could mean you do make a move lower. Okay. Now we also still have single prints from the past here that could make a quick flush down here. Okay, inventory is 50-50. That's no edge. We don't have to talk about that. All right, so markets accepting lower prices, that is bearish structure. Okay, but we also know we're at the bottom of weekly lows again, so there could be buyers here. Okay, let's not pretend we're still not in an uptrend. We are overall. Okay, so it's going to be a similar scenario here. Similar, very similar. Okay, we do have supply right here. Okay, so let's talk about some scenarios. Okay, let's look at these scenarios and then I'll wrap it up for today. All right, so let's get into it. I'll go with the bull. Same thing as the ES kind of, okay, but you have single prints from the past. So what I think could possibly happen and can get sellers happy and think that we're falling, these singles, you could flush these. You could flush these, go down to a naked VPOC down here, and then start recovering. And that could be the move. You're probably going to test this, much straighter price, go right into this supply. That could be the move for the bulls, and we balance. However, if we do take this supply, we're going here. We're going to go into here, and we're probably going to balance. Okay, that's what I see possible as a scenario. Okay, for a bullish scenario, that's what I see. Now, for the bear scenario, okay, for the bear scenario, same thing. We could even push down. I'm not going to get involved in that move, but if we come back, you could test this POC. That could be one rollover, right? Second one is you come here, you get into this supply, and then you start making these lower highs. That could be the rollover here. And go flush these single prints out. Okay? That's what I see. Now, the only other thing that I'd see, and I don't know if I would really be interested in it too much, is if the market did break that supply. Then you get into this monster level. You could get resistance here. Okay, and it could also, we would probably, I would guess the balance here, but you could start to move down again. But these two are more likely. Okay, we had a big move, so sometimes when you have a big move, you just do this. So we have to see. We have to see. All right, that's gonna be it for me. Hope everybody got that. All right. So subscribe, set an alert if you like what you saw. All right. You can also give me a big thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. You can follow me on X. It's gonna have to take time for me to get used to that at Gonzo719. So everybody got our plans pretty clear. Either we're gonna reverse or we're gonna go a little lower. We have to see, right? But we're not in just this balance area in the middle of the muddle like we were last week. We're on the edge now. So something's gonna happen. Like I said, if semis pull down and really crap the bed, you can get that move down a little bit. If buyers step in with AMD at 100, and if Nvidia kind of stabilizes, now Nvidia is still going right now. They're down 2%. Like I said, 405, 400, they could fall to. There's not much support below, okay? But if they recover, let's see. All right, let's see. All right, everybody, have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.